Hello my friends, Natasha with Natasha'Scrapbookorner, and today I'm coming to you with the fields of flowers. um, I was making some flowers by request for someone's birthday. I'm sure she knows. So should I say her name or not? Okay, it's Maggie. Maggie White here on YouTube. She asked me if I can make for her some cream colors. Mind you, cream colors. Rolled flowers. Of course, whatever you see here, it's a hybrid between rolled flowers and cream. Sorry Maggie, as I said in one of the comments on Maggie's flowers, I should be ashamed of sending these flowers to her, but I will be sending those because those are made for her, and she's free to do with them whatever she wants. Throw away, give away, use or not. So, let me start from the beginning. So, I took a muslin. I'm gonna take this rosette. I took this cream muslin fabric, and I rolled a couple flowers, simple like that. And everything was wonderful till I decided that I want to tea dye them to enrich the color. And I wound up with this, rough edge because I actually did really strong tea consistency, and I let it dry, hoping for the best. Of course, the variety from, the difference of color between natural cream has been ordered from tea dyed fabric, like day and night, and I was forced to try my Lindy's stamp gang, and I decided to highlight my flowers, and I used this one. Let me bring them all. Here's my towels that I was highlighting my flowers on, and I chose, because I'm working with the lavender theme, I liked that one, and to dull the colors I used this. So there you go, 3 heroes or not. Okay, so on this particular one you can see the shimmer, and I use, as I said, brown and white shimmers on those. So we're gonna be putting them away in the box. Hold on just a second. Alright, so, and then I did few with the cotton laces from NSK, and as Linda Face Chick 77, she was working with someone else's crocheted laces on her design team just recently, and she called those simplistic. I was actually thinking that those are from NSK because they are so similar. She called those simplistic, but those are really cool to get that edge on your project, you know, tuck it in and what's not. So in here, right here you see an example of rolled rose, and I incorporated the cotton trim and some doilies from my stash. And I think these particular ones were from Vintage Paper, not Vintage Paper Girl, sorry, stuff from the paper bag lady, Julie. So that's those. Are we still in cream tones? Yes, we are. Oh, here, I forgot another one. Rolled. Okay, and I'm packing them in a box because I'm leaving like tomorrow. Always. So the next ones I replenished, you know, revarnished. So you saw the first ones, right? Like this ones. So that's how they all came, bland, and I rolled them and everything. But I decided that's not good enough. So I decided to play a little bit with those. And in this particular case, you see I used Wild Orchid Craft Flower Daisy, some of the scraps of doily, and another scrap of doily, and this vintage doily. And in here I used vintage button, and I rolled the lace, I tuck it in, and I created a tutu bed, you know, just fold the square and put some pink trim in there and punch out the bottom out of the paper cardstock. And in here the same, so I just added more tulle and more layers of doilies. So those are kind of looking okay. Okay, so let's put them in a box. The worsted at the end, Maggie. The worsted are on the very bottom. Oh no, okay. So then this. That's the heroes of the hour. Because of this. So on top of tea dye, look at this nasty color. I cannot believe I'm sending it to you, Maggie. I cannot just believe it. But I cannot tolerate scraps in my house, so therefore they're going. So in here I used double layered lavender lace in here, and you will see it through the other projects, and some yarn. But this one kind of came out cute, although color a little bit funky, but it's okay. And this one came out really cute because I got bigger ruffle gathered, okay, so, and I just, you know, put the white yarn and more tulle, layers of tulle, and I tuck the tulle in to lift up the layers of the flower, so it's kind of very dimensional. And again, I backed it up on this, so only two, thank goodness. So only two of those. Then I did the pink ones out of old pink embroidered fabric that I had picked up at the thrift store. And the natural color is this, which I wish I left it that way, but apparently I did not. So you see that rough tea dye edge in here. This was gifted to me by someone, so I put that in the center, and I used that soft pink trim. So yeah, basically I just rolled that rose, and the roll-in effect is just very simple, nothing to it. Imagine that this is the piece of fabric. Sorry, it's wet. So you just basically fold it in half, so you would have that round edge. You gather your fabric, and you will leave it like loosely gathered like that, and then you just started to roll it into funky rosette. And a tip on that: do not have this edge too thick, because then smaller the edge, then more tinier the rosette comes. But this is quite a large rosette, so that's that one. Goes in the basket. Then this one, again with a little tulle and tucked lace. I like that button. This is kind of cute, kind of fluffy. And this one is all shabby because of the tulle. So I went all the way around, and I tucked it everywhere possibly can. Folded squares of tulle. Goes in the basket. And here's this one with the yarn, also kind of funky. Okay. So, and these two are with the fabric, with that pink fabric, but there is old vintage fabric added in here. Right here you can see it clearly. So, and I backed up this one. This one is kind of very shabby, vintagey. So I backed it up on the doily, and this one I backed up on the gathered lace and you know what. So those. Are you sick of me yet? I truly, guys, truly, I would love to know your opinion on those flowers. Please, please, honestly, bad or good, just please give me your opinion, because I need to know what to do, what not to do. And these two flowers I created out of old sheet of bed sheet, bedspread, whatever, and the same destiny was upon this fabric, but this one actually took the tea dye much healthier than the muslin, which surprisingly, right? And I sprayed it with the brown lindies and with the white ones, and then I added little drops of it's actually the glossy accent, and I was going to the clear blue water drops, but they turn out like they are tea drops, right? And you see the layer of the cream lace and doily in here. So, but I really like it. I really like it. So, and here's this one. So this one has more ruffled lace edge. You see, torn edge, and this one was the opposite. I guess I rolled it this way. I folded the fabric. This, I put the fold up, and on this I put the edge up instead of does it make sense? I'm sure it does, because you are out there, crafty monsters know it all. Okay, then where this one? Yes. Okay, these guys, it's my channel and I can say it because it was really funny. So I took the this burlap. It's on a spool, you know, on a spool. I was at Janet's, and I said to her, I got to start making, you know, flowers for Maggie. And I said, okay, you're gonna be helping me while we're watching TV or whatever. And she said, okay. So we started to do the flowers, but suddenly we both went blank. So we started search on YouTube tutorials for flowers. And of course, Trisha, Little Shabby Chic, came up immediately. Hi Trish, thank you so much. So, and while we were, cutting, the squares for this type of flowers, following Trisha's tutorial, like YouTube offers on the right side, also mostly viewed videos. So the next one, so while we were cutting, we already forgot that we watched the tutorials, so YouTube automatically fast forwarded and jumped the next video. So guess whose video it was? It was Fiona's, Janine644, and that was absolutely hilarious. And I said to Jen that we are doing Trisha's video while we are making Trisha's flowers while watching Fiona's channel. So that was funny. Just a good laughter. So you can see this folded squares, and that's what Maggie is doing for the most part. She follows Trisha's tutorial on how to fold those flowers, and you can see how fluffed these are and how flat these are. So you can go so many different ways depending on how you want to fluff your flowers. So those were okay ones. I would say okay. I'm not really happy about those. I'm putting them in a box, guys, right here, you see. And then we did, Janet and me, we did, so we did the base with the tool, and I used that satin trim, gathered satin trim from Mynashka, and tool and burlap, and then at home already I added some feathers, in this case some feathers and some vintage bling and pearl and crystal drop, whatever they call it, and doilies from my stash. So this is kind of flat and funky. This one is okay. So from now on they're kind of alrightish. This one is Loopy Loop Trisha's flower, but mine went out like a cake. So and I love how Trisha has those long, fingers, and she just fluffs her flower so gorgeously, and just yeah. So I didn't need to fluff it because the burlap, you see, burlap is kind of tricky to work with, but I thought that cream would be a good choice for Maggie's request. So I hope, Maggie, that burlap flowers are something that you can, you know, use in your creations. So this one is too thick. I got too many layers, so I actually did too big a string. And those are gonna be new arrivals at NSK in October, when we're gonna be reopening. So, and you see the tool and blah blah. Okay, that one. And okay, this one is just gathered, you know, with a tool, and then I added just doily, another doily, and a couple layers of gathered cream satin trim, and another doily in that bling. This one is kind of funky. I love that one. And this one I really like, but I don't know, it's kind of bulky. So, but I really like it. It has 2 layers, well, 3 layers, doily. This one was folded and gathered in a circle fabrics. So those are first. And then this one was, next layer was done separately from another strip. So I really like how this one came out. Funky. And this one probably my favorite out of all burlap ones. I don't know why. It's so elegant and it's so Maggie like. So I hope you like it, Maggie. And it's actually 3 layers of fabrics gathered together: burlap, satin gathered trim, and tulle. And they are gathered in the strip and gathered that way together and just rolled in. And this is from my stash. Alright. And this one, I should have not rolled so tight, but it looks like peony. So I hope you like it, Maggie. So that one doesn't need a lot of attention because I'm not really happy with it. Okay, so now this were my just recent ones, just like yesterday's. And I eventually said, you know what, whatever I'm sending to Maggie is not good enough. So I did the research, and I have a folder on Pinterest. So if you want to find, if you'll browse on Pinterest the flowers folder, you will find a tutorial for this type of flower. But basically it's a rolled rosette, and then you gather some lace or trim underneath for a second layer, and then you gather and ruffle another trim and put the base on. So basically that's it. So, but it's really dimensional, really cute. So made a couple of those are kind of good, you know, at least representable. And on this one, those are the same, but I wanted to do those water drops. And yesterday I put the glossy accents, and the fabric actually absorbed it. So instead of having the water drop on the flower, I had this polka dots dark pigmentation on it. And today I actually went over, because it's already sealed the surface. So I went and if you will take a look closer, it has those water drops raised. So those are the same, but with the water drops I probably shouldn't but I was anxious to find out how it's gonna look. Don't do that. I don't like it. So that's my recommendation. Okay. So, and then I did, so basically the burlap comes in the spool that this is the width of the fabric. So I cut it in half, and I think I cut for this trim, I cut a yard, and let me measure. I gathered to 12 inches. So out of yard of strip, you're getting only 12 inches of trim when you gather. And I just free folded while I was watching TV, and you see my you know, gathering with the threads. And then on top I put one of an escape plastic trims with the stones, rhinestones inside. And because it's like this is my theme for Maggie, so those were kind of like not really lavender, but they are close. So I made for her a couple, although I was thinking I'm gonna be using it on the project, but I didn't. So they're going into the box. I am trying to put it all in. So Maggie can use it, you know, on one of her burlappy projects. And today I created this puppies, following the same tutorial, the same, you know, the same subject, rolled rosette with the layers behind it. And for this I used this is kind of like double-sided fabric. On one it's kind of matte, on another it's very slick. So, and I did one rosette with a matte surface with a face, and this one is with the slick surface. So they would be slightly different, but about the same. And for the beds I used the tulle and the same fabric for the layer. But how adorable it came out. And I didn't put the center. I guess I'm just leaving up to Maggie to play with those. So those are going in a basket. And these are small cookies. And on this one I used the cotton embroidered strip. And you see the difference. This is the width of the strip is about 2 inches that I cut. A strip of 2 inches, and when you fold it together, so you're working basically with 1 inch. And look how much smaller rosette you're getting, and much cuter and much workable with, right? At least I think so. Alright, so there it is. Treasures from Natasha to Maggie. We got the full box. The end.